Hello everyone! Now let's learn some basic concepts in international trade. According to different movements of directions of the goods, international trade is classified into export trade, import trade, and transit trade. Export trade is the business trade that involves the selling of the products manufactured or processed in domestic market to foreign markets. Import trade is the business trade that involves the buying of foreign products to domestic products. Re-export refers to importing some products and then exporting them again without any processing domestically. Re-import means exported goods are imported again without any processing in foreign countries. Transit trade refers to the business trade that goes through a third country for the purpose of transporting from the manufacturing country to the consuming country. The business is regarded as transit trade by the third country which charges for the transportation in its country. Depending on whether the third country gets involved in the trade, international trade is classified into direct trade, indirect trade, and intraport trade. Direct trade refers to the business trade that happens between the country of production and the country of consumption without the involvement of the third country. Indirect trade refers to the business trade made by the country of production and the country of consumption through the third country. Intraport trade means the business trade involves three parties, which are the country of production, the country of consumption, and the country of making intraport trade. Let's know more about intraport trade. Intraport trade is not directly between an exporting country and an importing country. There are two ways. First, via third country's port. Second, transport directly but trade separately between the exporting country and the third country for exports. And then between the third country and importing country for imports. The countries or regions engaged in intraport trade usually boast the advantages of superior geographic location, well-developed traffic, convenient settlement instruments, and free trade policies. They are suited to be distribution centers such as Hong Kong of China, Rotterdam of Holland. What is the difference between indirect trade and intraport trade? The difference is seen from different angles. To the country of production or the country of consumption, the trade made through the third country is indirect trade. To the third country, it is intraport trade. What is the difference between intraport trade and transit trade? First, for intraport trade, the ownership of the merchandise is firstly moved to the party of the third country or region from the country of production, then to the party of the country of consumption. For transit trade, the ownership of the merchandise is not moved to the party of the third country. Second, intraport trade takes making profits as its main purpose and usually has an addition on the price, while transit trade usually takes a bit of extra charges. According to the forms and contents of merchandise, international trade may be classified into tangible trade or visible trade and intangible trade or invisible trade. Tangible trade refers to trade in the form of goods. Intangible trade refers to trade in services and trade in technology. According to the different standards of import and export, international trade may be divided into general trade and special trade, both being statistical systems. General trade is a statistical method to classify imports and exports by a country's border. General trade is divided into general imports and general exports. All the merchandise moving into and out of the order of a country are counted into the general trade, including imports, re-imports, exports, re-export, and transit goods, or the goods passing through the border. The total sum of general imports and general exports are general trade. Currently, there are more than 90 nations and regions adopting general trade as the statistical method, such as the United States, United Kingdom, Japan, Canada, and China. Special trade is a statistical method to classify imports and exports by the country's customs frontier. Special trade is divided into special imports and special exports. Special import is the goods moving into the customs frontier after paying tariff and making customs clearance. According to the standard, the goods which are moved into the border of a country but kept in the bonded warehouse or in the duty-free export processing zone are not taken as the import. For the time being, there are more than 80 nations and regions adopting special trade system, including Germany, Italy, Switzerland, France, and so on. There are also other important concepts like foreign trade volume, trade surplus, trade deficit, and trade balance. Foreign trade volume consists of the total export and import volume of a country for a period of time. It is an important indicator to reflect the foreign trade situation of a country, measuring the scale of the export and import volume in form of currency amount. In calculation, the export volume is calculated in terms of FOB price, and import volume is calculated in terms of CIF price. For a period of time, the difference between the total export volume and the import volume is called the balance of foreign trade. In cases that the total export volume is larger than the total import volume, the balance is called trade surplus or favorable trade balance. In case that the total import volume is larger than the total export volume, the balance is called trade deficit or adverse trade balance. When the total volume of import and export are the same, it is called trade balance. That's all for the introduction to the basic concepts in international trade.